Christians love to talk about the last days in Revelation, but let's decode what they never stop to ask. Step 1. Who actually wrote the book of Revelation? Let's start here. The book of Revelation was written by a man named John while exiled on the island of Patmos. But pay attention, no one knows exactly who this John was. It wasn't John the Apostle. It was likely some unknown mystic or rebel, writing around 95 AD, long after Jesus supposedly lived. Translation: it was written by a regular man claiming to have visions, not by God, not by Jesus, not by angels. Step 2. Why was it written? Revelation wasn't written for you. It was written for early persecuted Christians under the brutal control of the Roman Empire. The beast represents Rome. The mark of the beast represents loyalty to Roman oppression. It's not prophecy. It's a coded resistance letter filled with symbolism, not literal future events. Step 3. Who was it meant for? Revelation 1:4 literally says, "To the 7 churches in Asia Minor." Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey. It was never written for the entire planet, never written for Africans, and definitely not written for the black descendants of Africa, who were enslaved 1,500 years later. So how did this story end up in the mouths of people it was never meant for? Colonization. Step 4. The timeline doesn't add up. Revelation says Jesus is coming soon. Revelation 22:12. That was written 2,000 years ago. If soon means longer than entire empires, kingdoms, and civilizations have lasted, something's wrong. Either the writer was wrong, or the story isn't true. Step 5. The programming of fear. The last days narrative is mental programming. Fear of judgment, fear of hell, fear of missing out on salvation. It keeps people obedient, docile, and afraid to question exactly what a system of control needs to survive. Step 6. Africa had no last days before colonization. Africans lived by cycles of nature, ancestral wisdom, and balance with the earth. There was no end times doctrine until Europeans invaded with the Bible and the whip. The fear of an end was imported through slavery and religious brainwashing. Step 7. Revelation almost didn't make the Bible. Many early Christian leaders rejected Revelation because it was too violent, too weird, and too extreme. It was forced into the Bible later by church authorities, another human decision, not divine command. Step 8. Everything is symbolism, not literal. The beast, Rome, the dragon, political power, the false prophet, corrupt religion. It was all metaphors for real events in first century Rome, but modern Christians twisted it into literal prophecy without knowing the original context. Step 9. The foundation of belief is blind faith, not knowledge. The Bible tells you to believe, not know. The book of Revelation is built on visions, dreams, and symbols, never hard facts. And yet people build their entire life on it without asking basic questions. Step 10. The hard truth. Mental slavery disguised as faith. The last days narrative was never for you. It was never African. It was never global truth. It was a survival code for people under Roman oppression, hijacked and weaponized through colonization to control your mind, your fear, and your future. So before you scream, Revelation says this. Ask yourself, 1. Who wrote it? 2. Why did they write it? 3. Who was it really for? 4. And most importantly, why are you still carrying someone else's fear that was never meant for you in the first place? Final thought. The so-called last days in Revelation were never meant for you, your people, or your future. It was a man-made story, written by someone in hiding, meant for a specific group of people living under Roman oppression, not for the entire world, and definitely not for African descendants who were later enslaved under the same system that brought this belief. The real question is, why are you still holding on to fear-based stories that were forced on your ancestors through chains, blood, and mental slavery? Why are you living your life based on belief instead of truth, history, and your own ancestral wisdom? Because the truth is, belief without proof is not knowledge. Fear of the end keeps you trapped in the middle, and your freedom will only come when you question the very stories you were programmed to protect. The last days aren't coming. The last days are the ones you waste living under a lie.